In a world of wrestling podcasts, this is certainly the newest that may be rebooted. This is Whacked Out Wrestling. Hi, everybody. This is Whacked Out Wrestling this week because even if there's question marks, we got to make sure that it keeps going and keeps the momentum building. I'm Thomas Green, SK Green, and with me are two newest hosts on this one, making their podcast debuts.
I'm Joey the Caveman Ham. What up?
Mm-hmm. I'm John Roche.
Mm-hmm. And we're starting the Whacked Out Wrestling for the week. And before we go into this one, we've got to go with the most controversial thing that happened this week. And we're going with the simple fact that there's been a lot of people that have been questioning what to do about the Becky Lynch turn at SummerSlam. And some people are saying boo her. Some people are saying cheer her. Some people are saying whatever on this one. But let's just look at this one. This may be the most unprecedented situation in pro wrestling history. We've seen unpopular faces before. We've seen popular heels before. We've seen popular heels fight unpopular faces before. We've seen examples where the WWE completely failed to read the room. We've seen popular faces turn on popular faces before. We've seen storylines where the fans basically decided, no, we don't want to cheer these people with the Dynamic Dudes versus Midnight Express feud. We've seen feuds where the fans started to take the side of the heel, but by WrestleMania 13 with Bret Hart, Steve Austin, they were both getting cheered until the turn happened. We've seen storylines like Batista and Alberto Del Rio or Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, where it boiled down to you read the room so poorly, the fans said, we'll even cheer this guy over cheering the person you want us to cheer. But this feud is unprecedented because it may be the first time in wrestling history where the WWE gave us a heel performer and had them turn against a face performer, and the crowd basically rose up as one and said, no, the heel is the babyface and the babyface is the heel in this feud. I don't know what happens there. They completely read the room so poorly with this feud that I don't know what to do on this one. The only way to do this is to completely reverse polarity and have Becky Lynch as the babyface and Charlotte Flair as the heel, because they may have just destroyed their main event of WrestleMania next year with Charlotte Rousey because they just didn't get it. And I don't know what to go on from there.
You know, in all honesty, you hear me?
Yep.
You know, in all honesty, I just, like I was saying to you earlier, I just see similarities to Hart and Austin. I'm just thinking at this stage in the game, just go ahead and make Becky Stone Cold and make Charlotte Bret Hart for as much sense as that makes. Mm-hmm. And just run with it. I see, like, personally, I could give two shits and a fuck about Becky Lynch as a face, and hearing that promo, it made me interesting. It made her interesting to me, and I'm thinking to myself, just run with this and make her basically the female version of Minoru Suzuki. Of course, that doesn't mean shave her hair and make her have, you know, a funky bald head, but you get the gist.
Mm-hmm. And John?
Yeah, well, I didn't really see it. I haven't really been following it as closely as I might have in years past, but I can definitely sort of see where you're coming from with that. I didn't see the promo. I don't usually watch Raw or SmackDown. I think the only wrestling I really watched this week was Impact, and I don't really remember that much from that either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of the biggest things that's happened this weekend. This can be a problem because This has been a minefield all week long. It says something that Roman Reigns won the Universal title, and somehow that is more of a okay, we'll accept this. That's saying something.
Oh, absolutely.
And really, that just goes with this one, where they may have ended up with their Daniel Bryan moment for it, where the fans just rose up as one for the first time since 2013 and said, "You can't do this to them. We won't let you do this to them." And that's just interesting, because the biggest
rule of business is the customer's always right.
Yeah, and that's really the problem, because it's not just those ones, but it's the fact that in pros, the worst thing about wrestling right now is that when the Daniel Bryan yes movement happened, the fans should have gotten the answer, don't give up. Don't ever give up on the people you truly love. We
Jim
hear
Valvano.
you. Yeah.
Jim Valvano.
Yeah.
Long Island legend.
Yeah. We hear you. We always hear you. If you truly want something, and you truly want this so badly you'll do anything to get it, don't give up. If it means something, if it's true love, never give up on it. And eventually you will be rewarded. And what the fans got from the Daniel Bryan situation was, we own you. We own you. Fire your writers. We write the show now. Here's a list of everybody who has relevant indie experience in Ring of Honor, Shimmer, or anywhere else, and you will just give them the world title over and over and over again. You don't get a choice in the matter anymore. Whoever we want is the choice, and when we get him, we'll say, we're bored now. Take him back. And we'll ask for the next one. And that,
I always thought that kind of attitude was more of a generational thing. I mean, if you believe the theory of millennials, and that, give them what they want, and how they're demanding what they want. They talk about, the previous generations weren't like that. It just, I don't know if it seems so much like it's more louder now than it was back then. But I mean, there's just give and take. I mean, you can't have it all be like the fans want this, the writers don't have no power. It's like the reverse. It's like you've reversed the whole, for lack of a better term, you've reversed the whole hierarchy in like a corporation, for example. I think there has to be give and take. And sometimes I think people just need to sit down, shut the fuck up, and let the story play out. Yeah. That's part of what cut Cena off. That's part of what cut Reigns off. And everyone seems to cheer for Reigns when it's the Shield, but then everyone goes cold when Roman's on his own. And what I see is someone was making a comment. I forget where it was. I think it might have been on Reddit, but they said the best thing to do if you're not enjoying it is to just sit quietly. Mm-hmm. And then someone was making an argument about how the WWE has realized that they get more cash upsetting people than satisfying people, and that's something. Like that's some fucking masochistic 50 Shades of Grey type shit in a sense. But I mean, I know, weird metaphor, but if you see it, you see it. I personally, like I said, again, just have Becky Lynch be Stone Cold, have Charlotte be Bret Hart, sit down, shut the fuck up, and let's see what we get. I know I'm going to have people calling for my head for that, but you know what? I don't care. What I want to say to people is check back on this in like a month and let's see where we go. All this whining about, oh, what is this? What is that? Just take the ride. You bought the ticket, take the ride. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the impression I get on the whole Roman Reigns thing is it seems sort of like, I think a lot of the big backlash with Roman Reigns is just that, like, it seems like WWE's just like pushing and pushing and pushing. He's trying to make like they're trying to make you care about Roman Reigns. Like there was that one thing where I think Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble that one year, and then like The Rock come out and raise his hand like in celebration, and they were fucking booing The Rock. Sorry, language.
No problem. This is the TV R-rated show, so we can say whatever we want here.
Oh fucking yes.
Yeah, but that's really the thing on it where, again, this is the question mark, because with Roman Reigns, it went past we don't like him to we can't like him to we won't like him. And right now, that's really what's killed it more, where Roman's at with the smarts. We won't like him, and you can't make me.
Hey, did my camera come on just a second ago?
I didn't see it.
Neither
Did
did I.
see a picture?
Mm-hmm. Nope, I didn't see it. So
no, I know that when you talk, like your icon in the corner just goes black, and
yeah,
that's happening with Tom's icon too.
Okay, I just was checking that. It says it's blocking the camera. I'm just, testing. I'm just tinkering around. I just thought for a second I just thought for a second it was coming on, and okay, my antivirus software is blocking it. Fair enough. Okay.
Yep. But yeah, it's really weird on this one, because eventually it's gone to Roman Reigns is a battleground, and the sad thing is he's really good. Like,
yes, he's a great wrestler. He's basically updated Cena. Everyone bitched about Cena like the 5 moves of doom. You motherfuckers are the same motherfuckers that were bitching about Cena. You were creaming your pants about Bret Hart. And what did Bret Hart have? The 5 moves of doom.
Well, it's not even just that he's a 5 moves of doom guy like he's a Cena one. The secret thing
not a Haas. He's actually solid in the ring. For fuck's sakes, one of his moves is the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Roman Reigns went to Japan, he'd be
over.
He'd be Michael Elgin, only if Michael Elgin wasn't a fuckhead. So
yeah, I mean, Michael Elgin somehow is still hired by New Japan, even though he was peeing on women all over Toronto.
Well, that, and also the fact that a woman got raped by his trainee, and Elgin apologized, and he got Meltzer to dox an abuse shelter. Because she was so mean to him for...
Wait a minute, Meltzer doxed? How is he not in jail?
No fucking clue.
That Dave Meltzer, I mean...
Yeah.
He's got some serious ties.
Yeah. Yeah, we remind you that Dave Meltzer is an MRA fuckhead.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
And people were surprised that he fat-shamed Peyton Royce, so...
What the fuck? Fat shame Peyton Royce?
Yeah, last week.
Where's there fat on Peyton Royce? I mean, even Nia Jax, for as big as she looks muscular.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta say something. Look, the fat fucking shaming movement is retarded.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just weird on this one, because it's not just those ones, but it's just weird from those ones, and Meltzer's always been an MRA douchebag, so it's not like it's a new thing here.
Does he talk about the stuff in his Wrestling Observer?
No, but he makes it very clear that he has very strong opinions about ethics in video game journalism.
Jeez. One of those Gamergate creep shows, huh?
Hey, he might be one of the moderators on some of those sites, for all we know, under a different pseudonym.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Meltzer's a smart guy, though. What was funny was I was watching New Japan tonight, and it made me laugh because it was Kenny Omega versus Tama Tonga, and the ending was a DQ, and Kenny Omega was doing an interview, and he was saying something about, I'm not mad that you got DQ'd. I'm not mad that you attacked me. What makes me mad is you ruined my star rating. And I was laughing my ass off at that.
Yeah. And that's
thinking
really
to myself,
the problem. That's the issue that New Japan's going to have on this one, where they actually care about the star ratings. And that's why we need more wrestling critics out there. Because
there are more wrestling critics out there.
Yeah. But Meltzer, for some reason, is the only one that matters. And
this guy's been around since, what, the 70s?
Yeah. And that's a problem because you take a historic
Terry
match
Gordy
like,
one time, didn't he approach Terry Gordy in a bar with his dirt sheet and Terry Gordy blew his nose on it and threw it back at him and said, "That's what I think about your dirt sheets"?
possibly.
Hey,
But
wrestlers, do more of that.
It's very weird on this one when you have historically important matches like Hogan versus Andre at WrestleMania 3, and it's not considered a bona fide classic match because literally one guy hated it. And that's really the problem on this one, where at least
in the early, important asshole.
Yeah, at least
in the basically early has a god complex when it comes to wrestling because he could basically dictate, you need to like this match, you need to like that match, and basically he's acting like he's the god of what's right and wrong with wrestling.
Yeah, and it was better when you had multiple big name critics for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Meltzer is comic book guy if comic book guy got in shape.
Yeah. In the 2000s.
So I want to say this right now. Dave Meltzer, get the fuck over yourself.
Yeah. But with the 2000s, you had Scott Keith. You knew he preferred Canadian wrestlers. And you could say, okay, he's going to have a bias towards Canadian wrestlers. You had people of similar levels to that. And you knew what their bias was. And you could say, okay, this is their bias, but let's go on from there. Right?
Yeah.
Meltzer's the only big one on this one. You know his bias is Japanese wrestling. But since there's no one else there, it seems like Japanese wrestling is the only good wrestling in the world.
No, it's not. I mean,
we're saying that's the impression. You know, like that's
wrestling. There's good U.S. wrestling. There's good. Look, hey, has anyone noticed like China's building stuff from the ground up and it's actually pretty halfway decent?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's going to be a big thing coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, I see
absolutely.
I see the clips of it. I don't know what the promotion is offhand, but I saw them, and I mean, supposedly they were allegedly monks that were trained wrestling. This is going to be like Terayamon on steroids, and I mean, I see the athleticism, the coherence isn't there yet, but it's going to be fun to watch over the next few years.
Yeah, and even if it's the athleticism, again, let the record show that Great Khali started a wrestling school in India. And Indian wrestling starting to get.
But the thing is, I'd be scared about Khali teaching people because didn't he accidentally kill someone?
That was being fair. That was an unfair thing on it, where the guy who he allegedly killed had a concussion, but he was told to keep wrestling by Roland Alexander, and Khali.
That guy's a dumbass.
Yeah,
about him.
Basically, Khali didn't kill the guy. He was just the guy who drew the short straw of having to work with this dude.
All right, excuse me a minute, guys. I gotta bleed the lizard. I'll be back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like back when you had all those multiple critics, you could sort of like you said, they each had their bias, and you knew their bias, and you could get like a more complete picture of the overall scene. Like, okay, this guy likes luchadors. This guy likes submission matches. This guy's into hardcore stuff. You know, like you could see like from each of them. It's like the whole thing with the elephant where a bunch of blind guys like feeling around on an elephant. Like they each see it. They see like different parts of it, but you can't really get the whole picture unless you take all of it together. And I mean the one guy, Dave Meltzer, dictating the whole pace of it. I mean that's hard. That's like horrible for wrestling. Like if it would be like if you only had like Roger Ebert, as great as Roger Ebert was, no mistake about that. Like Roger Ebert was like probably one of the greatest film critics ever to walk this earth. But I think if he were the only critic, and I've never heard any of Dave Meltzer's stuff, so I'm taking your word on it for how much of a jerk he is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know if there's like another film critic who could really compare to him.
Yeah. And honestly, it's pretty much a good thing, because I was going to use the Oscars thing of them adding the best popular movie.
Oh, good Lord. I heard about that. That's like, I mean, I've heard people saying that, like, that just sort of, like, when you have this whole complaint about how the people making the picks at the Academy are all out of touch with, like, what the ordinary film going public wants. I mean, I feel like that's a little, like, there are people saying that's like a little on the nose. You know what I mean? Like, that sort of seems to underscore it, where it's basically just giving a consolation prize out of like a combination of a sense of grim obligation and petulance, because they don't want to they only want to, like, give even the chance of a nod to, like, certain films or films by certain directors or what have you.
But that's basically a good example of this one, where on the one hand you have things like the MTV Movie Awards, which are closer to what actual public are trying to go with. But this way you have it, okay, we'll give Black Panther a Best Picture award next year, but now that we have this award, we don't have to bother with anything else. So we can just give you 10 movies about a Nazi concentration camp owner who's in a gay relationship with a Jewish person inside the concentration.
There was a movie that came out. There was a movie that I seen a commercial for about that, and I swear to God, it looked like it could have been friggin' Bionic Commando the movie if they just adjusted some of the things slightly. I'm trying to think of the name of the movie that came out. That was based on Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of it right now, but I was watching a commercial for that. I was thinking, you know what? This is like 2 steps away from being Bionic Commando the movie, which would have been pretty tight if you ask me.
Was it Inglourious Bastards?
No, it came out. It was a commercial this year.
Okay.
I never seen Inglourious Bastards. But MTV. You talk about the MTV Awards. Those are. I don't know if the MTV Awards would be a good benchmark. You know, because they have their favorites, don't they? That they want to push.
Well, it's not just the fact that I'm saying this one. I'm saying it in comparison to Meltzer's stuff, where on the one hand you have the movies that everybody's watching and the modern ones, and that's the populist choice. And then you have the Oscar bait bullshit that the Oscars keep giving it to it.
The Oscars are so masturbatory, it ain't funny. Hell, I mean, the Tony Awards are so masturbatory, it ain't funny. I mean, okay, like the Oscars, look, answer me this. How come late in the year or late in the last year, early in the new year, how come is it all the fucking time we see a goddamn movie that just came out and they're like, oh, it's the best movie of the year, and they just fucking jizz all over themselves, giving them award after award when it hasn't even been released for more than 2 months? Where's the love for all the other movies?
Well, yeah, because to them it doesn't matter if it's a good movie on it. It just needs to be in one theater in New York or LA on just December 25th.
And for the record, most of those fucking movies that come out, they're depressing as hell.
Yeah, that's the point of Oscar bait. But that's similar to the problem with Meltzer's ratings. New Japan has become pro wrestling Oscar bait.
Are you honestly? Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, he gave Okada Omega the first 6-star rating. I seen the match. It was a good match. But are you honestly going to sit there and tell me between Misawa and Kawada of 94 to Okada and Omega 23 years later, are you going to straight up sit there and tell me that there weren't as good or better matches than that somewhere else in the last 23 years? Are you going to sit there and tell me that? I think you're biased.
Yeah.
I think, Meltzer, I think you're biased. I think you need to get the fuck over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, there's good wrestling everywhere. I mean, Lucha Libre, I haven't watched much of it. I mean, I'll be frank with you. Like, my Lucha Libre knowledge is from watching Rey Mysterio and Psychosis and all of them in WCW and watching a little bit of Lucha Underground, but I could sit. But I mean, I've watched a couple episodes of AAA here and there, but I'm no expert. But I mean, I'm not going to scoff and be like, oh, it's Mexican wrestling, I don't like that. No.
Yeah, and
I'll sit down and watch it.
At least we've seen with Lucha Underground being so awesome that there is very good wrestling in Mexico right now. And maybe it's not the stuff like, maybe it's not the clowns who they keep building on it in Psycho Circus, who are probably the worst.
Clown, or is he there under a different name?
Yeah.
He's there under a different name?
Who?
Psycho Clown. Is he there under a different name?
Psycho Clown's in Lucha Underground.
He is?
But I don't think he is, because the Psycho Circus are basically AAA megastars who can't really break out in the US because
I should really watch Psycho Clown, because when I hear that, it makes me think of ICP, and I know they're not like ICP.
Well, yeah, but that's really the problem, because Psycho Circus is basically, they are not good enough to deserve a name taken from a Kiss album, even a really bad Kiss album.
Very good, yeah. I mean, very good pointing out Kiss. I mean, I should have brought up Kiss instead of ICP. I guess I don't sit in the cool table today.
Don't worry.
Anyway, just there's good wrestling all over the place. I mean, when we're all in our 30s, and I mean, if there's people listening, there's people of all ages, and you know, sometimes I think the internet, for as good as it's done wrestling, sometimes I think it's hurt wrestling to the degree of, like I was talking a second ago we were talking about Becky and Charlotte. Sometimes it's like back when we were little kids and Hogan was running around, or, Sting and Ric Flair are fighting with each other and all that. We didn't have the internet like it was now. I mean, we were just sitting back and enjoying the ride. Sometimes I think people have forgotten how to be fans.
Well, it's also weird because this is an era where it ties with the indie revolution in the sport, where you can't just see stardom from one place. Like with Roddy Piper, for example. Okay. You didn't have to know how good he was in Mid-Atlantic, how good he was in Portland, how good he was in Los Angeles, to like Roddy Piper in WWF.
What about NWA, Greg the Hammer Valentine, 1983? That was pretty swank.
Yeah, but you didn't need to know about those things, for example.
He still wrestled in Portland sometimes, even when he was in WWA. That's,
for
fuck's sake, he was under WWF or WWF let's call it WWF since it's in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I mean, I mean, he was, for fuck's sake, he was under contract in WWF and went to Portland. He created Beetlejuice, for fuck's sake, while he was under contract. Yeah. And funny enough, Beetlejuice goes on to be the Juicer in WCW. Mm-hmm. I didn't know any of the story about the Juicer until years later, but I thought that was a cool gimmick. And unfortunately, he did what he did, and then he teamed up with Eddie Guerrero, and I'd love to sit down and see stuff from him and Eddie Guerrero besides When Worlds Collide. I need to see some of that.
Those Gringos Locos were really good. They're a top team in the Afterlife Wrestling Federation now, so.
Yep. You know, it's funny. I mean, with Neidhart dying, the only one left to join him is Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. When we all get to the Afterlife, the wrestling's going to be sick.
Yeah.
Jumbo and Misawa's probably going on. They're probably doing like 8-star classics.
I don't know. I think Misawa's probably busy used as a guardian angel of his greatest student, Nikki Bella, so.
Oh, stop it. Will you stop, please?
Have you seen her Misawa-esque forearms, though?
Have you seen me go to the bathroom and puke? Have you seen me go to the bathroom and puke or do my Ace Ventura impression after he found out Einhorn was a man? Where he goes, have you seen me do that? That's what I do when I see the fucking Bellas. And that's what I do when I see all these reality TV skanks.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's still them, but yes, the wrestling would be quite good.
Not that I'm hating. They've done a good job and made a bunch of money. Yep. But come on, man. There's more to life than that kind of BS. Come on, man.
Yeah. But it's still the same things where it is weird when most of them go through that one, so.
And now the fucking Miz has got his own show with Maurice. I mean, Mike Miz has been outside, isn't it true? Excuse me?
I was going to say, Miz has been doing, like, reality show stuff since like the mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, let me go on about The Miz. If you really stop and think about it, The Miz is the best ever celebrity turned wrestler. I will give him his props.
Yeah,
He's the best turned wrestler. Mike Mizanin, outside of The Miz, supposedly, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the guy like done the second most Make-A-Wishes behind John Cena when it comes to wrestling?
I don't know if The Miz did. I think Hogan did the second most Make-A-Wishes.
But The Miz in real life supposedly is a very down-to-earth individual. He's kind of like how Dragon Brian Danielson is in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I met Brian, he was a very cool guy. I'm very happy for his success. I mean, it's just The Miz's character. The Miz in character is the biggest douchebag in the world. But you know what?
Of course,
goddamn heel. You're supposed to hate him. He's doing
even if he was, again, he's a 14-year veteran, so you know that Miz is probably a deserving guy.
What do you think The Miz would do in Japan?
Yeah, honestly, the problem is that some guys will be good in Japan, and some guys wouldn't be. And most of his promo skills are basically his cup of tea there. And that wouldn't matter.
But what if did Danielson re-sign with WWE, or is he still free agent?
I have no clue yet. I heard whispers.
What day is Hell in a Cell? What day is Hell in a Cell?
Wait, Danielson was a free agent? I thought
The rumor was his contract expires September 1st, but he is booked for September 21st. So,
what day is Hell in a Cell? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
September 26th.
Okay, so maybe he resigned. I was just going to say, here's an idea if you want to really build up. I got an idea for you. I mean, you could try this on for size. It might be good, it might be bad, but here's an idea. Let me run with me with this.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, the mixed tag match. Let's have it at Hell in a Cell. Okay, let's say Brian fucks Miz's shit on up so bad that he has to kayfabe, take a year off, or something happens, or somehow The Miz gets released, okay? Now, there's a rumor. There's been a rumor going on that WWE is trying to work with Noah.
Mm-hmm.
What if they write Miz out, and The Miz takes that year he's out, goes to Noah, learns how to wrestle the Japanese style, and comes back on as even of a playing field as he is as Danielson? I mean,
honestly,
Danielson keeps calling him, oh, you're soft. Oh, you're a coward. Oh, you're safe. Now, what if he went to Japan, trained a little bit there, and came back and was surprising him?
Honestly, I don't think
that would be interesting.
Miz is a good Southern style heel.
I know that, but I'm saying just
secondly, the big thing that you've got to realize is that Miz came out of UPW, and UPW guys were notoriously terrible in Japan.
Okay, well, look at the WWE locker room. Look at all the connections and stuff there. You telling me Miz hasn't picked up a few things?
Well, you've got to, again, it's the problem that a lot of the UPW talent was notoriously absolutely bad gaijin in Japan because they always sold too much for a gaijin feel. And someone like Miz, who's basically a Southern style UPW guy, he would sell way too much to be there.
Samoa Joe came from UPW, right?
Yeah, and Samoa Joe was was notoriously bad in Japan. So,
but then he had a match with Misawa finally after all the political BS. He finally got his match with Misawa and Noah, and it wasn't that bad. But Misawa was old as dirt at the time.
Yeah, but even with that one, it's not just the fact that it was political bullshit, but also the fact that in Japan, Samoa Joe was always seen as a Morishima ripoff. And in America, Morishima was always seen as a Samoa Joe ripoff.
So, I mean, they could have had a match. It's like, okay, by that logic, I mean, I know this is going to sound far-fetched, but you get the gist. But, I mean, think about the parallels of John Cena and Hiroshi Tanahashi's career. One of my dream matches is Tanahashi versus Cena. I don't give a fuck if it's a WWE or New Japan. You telling me that match wouldn't draw and be interesting?
Well, that's the difference.
You could have the point I'm trying to make is they've had parallel careers. You could have hypothetically had a Morishima versus Joe match in Japan or ROH, and it would have gone over like gangbusters.
Of course, it would have gone over like gangbusters. But I'm just saying that Joe wasn't exactly this megastar in Japan either.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
He had supposedly when he was teaching the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo in LA back in the back to like 2004, 2005, and there's always some BS of he had the stench of 0-1, and I think that's because Shinjiro Otani left New Japan to form 0-1. Correct me if I'm wrong, and basically as a fuck you, they were like, no, you dealt with Otani. We hate his ass. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Some petty bullshit, but then again, I mean, Japan is known for loyalty, so what do I know?
Yeah, and that's going to be the question mark if they make an NXT Japan on this one, because right now the big thing with them is they can have anybody they want in Japan, because with Japan, it's big on loyalty, but if you're an entertainer or an athlete, they view you hit in America as a huge deal. Like any idol, anime, or manga, the happy ending is always they're about to hit in America, and that's a difference. But if NXT enters Asia in that one, say sayonara to any chances of getting a top New Japan talent. Say sayonara to any chances of getting top Stardom stars. You're not getting anybody big.
Nakamura is still there right now, but I've heard things about his contract runs out early 2019. He might be able to even make the January 4th show.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about that one, and it's a question mark there, but it's viable on it, and it'd be a question mark for all of them. It's pretty likely AJ Styles re-signed. Right. I'm not sure if WWE will want to re-sign Gallows and Anderson, but I'm pretty sure that Anderson left New Japan because he wanted to go stateside again. So,
yeah, didn't Sting retire back in 2016?
Sting retired in 2015. Yeah,
2015. Yeah, but like
he finally came to WWE, and I didn't see the match, but wasn't it bad?
It was. His match with Seth Rollins was the match where he got injured and had to retire from that. And his match with Triple H, you weren't supposed to view it with star ratings in your eyes. You were supposed to view it as a spectacle. And as a spectacle, it's very good.
God, Meltzer is coming to all our brains, even when we don't mean it.
Yeah. But as a spectacle, Sting versus Triple H was perfectly cromulent.
Sting versus a bigger match.
Mm-hmm.
And we still want it today. But of course, people would bitch because they're old. So, okay, if they're old, all right, well, you motherfuckers, quit your bitching. Just put them as their young selves in Fire Pro and go nuts.
Yeah, and that's really the thing where, at the very least, New Japan has that right where they have the dads. They say, okay, we still have these guys, but they're not going to do much of importance, and they're just going to be there to be extras for it.
Yeah, you're talking about the older guys, like, they go from having their moments in the sun to becoming open card matches.
Yeah, the
like Yuji Nagata. Has Yuji Nagata versus Minoru Suzuki ever happened at all?
I don't know.
I'd like to see that match. Can someone tell me if that's happened before? And I mean, if it's on YouTube, because I'd love to see a Nagata versus Suzuki match. Hell, I'd love to see it even today. I know Nagata's had his moment in the sun, and he's kind of doing opening card matches, or is supposedly
2005, August 6th, 2005. It happened. Yuji Nagata versus Minoru Suzuki.
What promotion?
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I need to see that.
Yeah,
I'll have to put that on the list. But I could just imagine.
I'll actually. Pulling it up now. I will. I'll link. Okay, you're in Skype. I was gonna link you to it through there, but
no, I'm off Skype right now. I switched out.
Fair enough.
But no, I'll watch it sometime soon. I mean, I'm having a blast with you guys.
Yep. Don't worry. If you want to watch it while it goes through, that's always something to talk over for things like that, and give extra ones up. Random matches to watch while get going. So
we do. Hey, got a question. Are we able to play music on this, or would you be nervous of like copyright and stuff?
I don't know copyrighted, but no one's listening, so who cares?
Well, one day someone will be listening.
Yeah. Well, more than likely, but
well, you know what? Be optimistic. Well, this could lead to something special, or it could just be us three guys chilling shooting the shit.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah, even if we're just talking to each other, like
exactly.
Yeah, I'm having the time of my life right now.
Hey, I was joking, so that's one of the pluses. Again, that's one of the pluses of self-deprecating humors,
I'm pretty good at self-depreciation, stuff like that. Taking a left turn on Albuquerque. Do you guys get into Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Kimmy Schmidt show?
I haven't really watched it yet.
Neither have I, honestly.
Me and my mom have been watching it over the last few weeks, like watching 3 episodes a weekend, and it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, something I want to watch. I want to watch the Full House sequel. I haven't watched that yet, but I know, didn't My Hero Academia start out on Netflix, but they snatched it from there?
I think My Hero Academia was a Funimation show, so...
Yeah. Are you thinking of Little Witch Academia?
Maybe.
Yeah. Delicious Harry Potter.
I remember seeing it advertised for Cartoon Network, and I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't that on Netflix?
Yeah, I think that's Little Witch Academia. So.
Okay, fair enough. What was that one about?
It's basically Harry Potter, the anime.
Oh, you'd probably love it.
I saw the first episode. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible, and the concept's pretty cool, so...
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really delved much into newer animes. I'm more of like a 80s, 90s, a little bit of Zeros type stuff. But I mean, I'm starting to slowly come back. I've been watching a little bit of Dragon Ball Super on Cartoon Network. I did watch a sequel to Fully Cooley, and you know what? I mean, I'm so on the fence about that. Like, the original Fully Cooley was awesome. Progressive was throwing the fans a bone. I want to see what they do with Alternative. I'm intrigued by it. I'm hearing Alternative is going to be a total left turn on Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Here we go, using that quote again, but
yeah. I've sort of been getting more into like tokusatsu stuff. Like I know on Crunchyroll they have a bunch of Ultraman, and I saw a few episodes of one.
Are you talking about 70s Ultraman?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Well, I don't know if they have 70s Ultraman, but I saw one called like Ultraman Nexus, which is like it's sort of, I guess the idea with it is that it's basically more, I guess they went for a more realistic feel, like how like an actual modern society might deal with something like Ultraman, which is like they would sort of be on the fence. They'd be dealing with all these other big monsters, and then they'd see this other big guy coming in. And, one thing that I really wish, I mean, we had a thing with Ultraman in the US for a while, like that. Like, I think the original.
Yeah, they had that in the 90s. And
had Ultra 7.
Like Saturday mornings, like 5:30. That was back when they were. That was back when Power Rangers blew up, and they were trying to bring everything or make ripoffs like Tattoo Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills, Superhero and Samurai Cyber Squad, and all that funky shit. I mean,
like I'm waiting for them to. I'm waiting for someone like to finally like get the courage to try to do something with Kamen Rider in the US again.
Honestly, that's really the question mark.
They tried it twice. They tried it like back in '95 with the Masked Rider. That didn't take. They had the fucking kid from Magic Kid as a star, and that was kind of blah. And then they tried it again. They put it on CW. Just hell, they were better off trying to put it on Nickelodeon or some shit, because Nickelodeon suddenly got the Power Rangers.
And they actually have. There's actually one that they made for Amazon Prime. It originally aired in Japan, but they brought it over to like US Amazon Prime. I think the first season is on there. It's called like it's sort of a reimagining of one of the earlier Kamen Riders. It's called like, this one is called like Kamen Rider Amazons, plural. Kind of like how there was Amazon back in like the 70s.
Was that the one? There was one Kamen Rider that someone told me about a long time ago. Is that the one that was set like in a dual time? Like part of it took place in '86 and part of it took place in the present day?
Oh no, that was Kiva. Amazon was the one with where you like wound up crashing. Like the guy was in a plane crash in the Amazon jungle, and he wound up getting like an armlet that turned him into
Kamen Rider.
Yeah, basically.
Hey, question: was the NES game Mock Rider, was that based on Kamen Rider?
I don't believe so. I'd have to look it up, but I think that was just like one.
Yeah, I think Mock Rider is just a driving game, if I'm not mistaken.
But they had a storyline with it. If you played like one part of it, it was like story mode, and they'd go through this narrative and stuff, and then they'd play like da 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 da, and then say, "You are Mock Rider." I always thought that was either one or two things. I always wondered if it was based on Kamen Rider, like Metroid was based on Alien. They couldn't make Alien the game, so they just named it Metroid, and Metroid's become bigger than Alien, arguably. It just begged the question, just a thought on my mind.
Yeah.
I'll never forgive Adult Swim for never putting fucking Ranma 1/2 on TV. I'll never forgive. I mean, they're like, they switched sexes. You motherfuckers had a goddamn hooker asking for a blowjob on fucking C-Lab. You had fucking Tenchi being the way it's going. Get the fuck out of here with this. You can't put Ranma 1/2 on bullshit. And you should have fucking put Ranma on when Inuyasha got big. You didn't, so you guys are shitheads.
Yeah, and it's weird they don't do it now because they put Ranma 1/2 on Blu-ray and DVD recently, and transgender viewpoints.
Okay, on another note, I'm sorry to cut you off. On another note, Sailor Moon, the last season, was never dubbed. You telling me straight up the Sailor Moon dub came out by Deke in 1995. Now, say what you want about the bullshit dub they did. All right?
Yeah,
you
we'll find out from these ones.
But Sailor Stars, what, Fleck?
Yep.
Okay, I'm saying you straight up telling me you can't put Sailor Stars on dubbed in Adult Swim circa 2003, 2004 and it not get over? Fuck out of here. Because those motherfuckers that watch a Sailor Moon are now all grown up. You could have made a badass dub and it could have been, hey, it's grown up with us. It's edgy. It would have gotten
they've actually done a new dub of Sailor.
I know they've done a new dub.
They give the Sailor Stars dub
as back then and put it on Adult Swim.
Yeah. But they've also done the Sailor Starlights as part of the new dub, so.
And you know what the funny thing is? There was someone on YouTube that was actually trying to dub Sailor Moon based on the Deke dub.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually did it halfway decent. I've seen bits and pieces of it. They actually did it halfway decent. I know there's a lot of anime fans that are going to want to throw things at me for that. But I mean, I look at, like a Sailor Moon, I look at it like this. I've seen the sub and I've seen the dub. You know what Sailor Moon, the dub was to me? It was basically like Earth Girls Are Easy, the movie, if they were teenagers and there was an anime. Think about it. Think about it. There's parallels.
I don't remember Earth Girls Are Easy enough to. I know I saw it, but I don't remember it as enough to know the parallels there.
Okay, get back with me on that. Or, if anyone's listening to this, hey, you guys, go watch Earth Girls Are Easy, then watch about 5 episodes of Deke Dub Sailor Moon if it still exists in some place. You get back to me. You could see some parallels.
Yeah.
And if I ever hear, because I'm a blonde from Earth Girls Are Easy on Sailor Moon, I am going to drop trout and shit myself blind. No, better idea. I got a guy. Okay, hey guys, I got an idea. I want someone to make a fucking AMV of Julie Brown's Because I'm a Blonde set to Sailor Moon. Just imagine her going, because I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, that would be hilarious. Oh, God. Fuck it, let it play. We're going to hell. Go to hell, play it.
This is the WoW style, people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think this is what Vince McMahon uses his booking style based on.
Yes. I want to see an AMV of Sailor Moon set to this now.
Yeah.
Okay, to make it with the current times, have Ariana Grande dye her friggin' hair blonde and do a cover of that. She damn well could do covers of every Madonna song from like 84 to 2000. So what the hell?
Yeah. Well, I think that would Ariana Grande's overlords in the Illuminati allow it?
For the record, Jeanette McCurdy was hotter than Ariana Grande, so you Ariana Grande marks need to eat dirt.
Yeah.
Jeanette McCurdy, where are you? Why have you fallen off the face of the earth?
Yeah.
Damn puppet over Cat Valentine, but then again, Jade West was the one running everything. Elizabeth Gillies now doing Dynasty.
Yeah.
Everyone's because I'm a blonde on the Whacked Out Wrestling Network.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Well, this is the Whacked Out Wrestling style for it.
Word.
Posting over now, Wasted podcast for our friends on it. We're the ticking time bomb of them, so.
Okay. Yeah, but and before you give me hell, people, I'm talking about Sam and Cat, not iCarly.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I don't think it matters right now what we say on these things because, again, the 12 listeners will all be fine. So.
Yeah, I know, but people would, you know how people are. But
yeah,
nah. And
don't worry on it. There's a lot of controversial opinions that can go well on this one.
Yeah, and I mean, Elizabeth Gillies was 18 when she started on a Victorious, so there you go.
Well, I'll pretend she said 18, so.
No, she was 18. She was
Good Lord.
Dude, Victorious came out in 2011. Elizabeth Gillies was born on July 26, 1993. She was 18.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? 1993 plus 18 is 2011.
I get that, but still cutting it kind of close, but okay.
Yes, much easier to go with the old enough to bleed, old enough to breed thing.
Oh, good Lord.
Stop it. We're gonna wind up only being a one shot. All of us are gonna wind up in jail.
Don't worry about it. I think they can't arrest us for anything that we've said. Yeah.
We're gonna all wind up either in jail or in the insane asylum. We're gonna wind up in like the Minted Hills from Good Burger.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'll tell you this: if I meet Linda Cardinelli from Good Burger, her Good Burger character don't try to save the kangaroos, I'd hang out with her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the pluses on it, where we can say things a little bit different from most of them.
Yeah. But no, I mean, Elizabeth Gillies was the hottest one of them all. I mean, Grande, she's not my cup of tea, but I can see how she'd be other people's. Now she's marrying some Saturday Night Live guy. Jeanette McCurdy, a Fox.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you guys will know I'm kind of a little bit of an oddball, but always contending like a legend.
Don't worry, I don't think it's possible to be too odd for this show, so.
Yeah, I guess. Because I'm you motherfuckers now. Thanks a lot. Now I got because I'm a blonde in my head. At least I replaced the friggin' learning the ropes theme. And then lately, the past few days.
You'd think that YouTube would have the learning the ropes episodes on it, so we'd have some more examples of things to use for these ones.
Well, it's like I said yesterday. They used to have fucking all the episodes of it on YouTube. Now I only see the fucking debut episode. I'm like, what? Did someone arrest the guy that put him up thinking it was GIMP porn or something?
I don't know on that one. I think that GIMP porn is perfectly legal on YouTube, so.
Well, look at the Masked Maniac. He looked like a goddamn GIMP.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a goddamn GIMP. Oh. But anyway, well, then before I had the learning ropes thing, I had Surfer Bird in my head for like 2 weeks.
So you are aware of these things. You're aware of the avian information there.
Everybody heard. Everybody knows that the bird is the word. Yes, I could do the voice perfect.
Yes.
And then guess what else I can do perfect?
Yes, that's
up,
one of the pluses of being from Rhode Island. You can actually get the accent down.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna tear alive.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
And don't you know I would move heaven and earth to be together forever.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. We followed off the rails, ladies and gentlemen.
We were never on the rails.
Yeah, that's the pluses of it. The rails.
Well, shout out to one of my friends from college, Joe Sarago. He would say right now that this is ending about as well as a monkey driving an 18-wheeler.
Well, at least that's a plus on this one. Where
hey, BJ and the Bear, man,
rails. Where we're going, we have no need for rails.
Damn right.
Where we're going, we don't need eyes to see.
Yeah.
Wait, that's something else.
Yeah.
You guys gone to Walmart lately?
I work there, so yeah.
Seems like
I have not.
Hey, Fleck, I mean, have they gotten Sailor Moon shirts for Walmart? I seen Naruto. I seen Dexter's
I haven't seen any, no.
I've seen Dragon Ball. I've seen Naruto, and I've seen fucking Dexter's Laboratory, and I've seen a Rick and Morty shirt. But yeah. I'm wondering, when is Sailor Moon going to come down the pipelines?
I think it mostly goes with whatever's really popular and everybody's wearing is what they bring.
Yeah, I picked up a Def Leppard Pyromania shirt today. I'm going to cut it up into a muscle shirt.
Yeah.
Styling it like Raven.
Yeah, unfortunately, all I had to pick up was jeans because while I was working, my pants ripped, so.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep.
But you got through it and you're all right.
Exactly.
Hey, a lot of my friends work at Walmart. They tell me all kinds of horror stories.
Actually, I haven't had a problem there for the most part, so.
You're in Rhode Island. I'm in Florida, man. Florida's a weird...
also has the mixture of Walmart man and Florida man.
Yeah, I mean, Florida's my home state. I mean, we are all a bunch of mutants, but we're all right people.
Keep Florida weird.
Yeah.
Florida's
just normal good people on Flocka.
What?
Florida's just normal, good-natured people.
Yep.
On Flocka.
Okay, well, now I got something else in my head. I'm going to play it in a second if I can find it. Hold on. You're going to blow your minds right now. You still hear me?
Yep.
I can still hear you.
Okay, just hold on. I'm gonna blow your minds at what I got. I know, Fleck, you're gonna give me hell for this, but fuck it. Wait for it. Wait.
It's Crazy Town, isn't it?
No, it's not Crazy Town. It's not Crazy Town. I'm not gonna subject you to that again. Because of that, I have to listen to 10. Because of that, he said I have to listen to 10 songs that I have to be forced to listen to, and he hasn't used them all yet. And we're going on about 11 years since then. But let's see here.
Yes.
Here, okay. Here's what I got going in my head.
What's the goal of that long ride? That long ride of life? The pit stops. Everybody has a sweet tooth for that sweet.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Yep.
They took the beat and made the song better.
Rest up and chill. Has the beat sweet. You like it. You want that.
This over lollipop 10 times out of 10, people.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you speak? While we're on the subject of music, did little story that broke recently? Apparently, there are allegations about 3 tracks on a posthumous Michael Jackson album, Michael. The lead vocals were not actually by Michael Jackson.
What's up?
Breaking news, Monster, and Keep Your Head Up.
Say that again?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
so keep your head up and
Alright, enough
not
of that.
done by Michael Jackson.
What?
yeah, like they were songs on the album Michael, which was released in 2010, and basically there are allegations that Michael Jackson did not actually sing on those songs.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would kind of be weird because Michael Jackson has a really notable voice on it where if Michael Jackson's singing something, you know it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and it's apparently a subject of a lawsuit because supposedly there's this question of whether people who had purchased the songs or the album that the songs were on would be whether they'd be entitled to a refund of the purchase price based on that.
Yeah, well, there's also the case where if you purchase an album by a deceased singer, you gotta assume there's a chance that that deceased singer probably didn't sing on those albums. Like,
Yeah, like
Who owns the rights to Michael Jackson now? The Beatles?
I think it was a deal between Michael Jackson's estate and Sony Music.
Oh, okay.
yeah, like for instance, for Tupac's been putting out albums for 20 years now. Or
How many friggin' fucking songs did he make in between? Like, he must have made about 5,000 songs or something.
Yeah, and with how little Tupac's discography was when he was alive, there's no way all those songs were made by Tupac. So
there was a guy that came out a few years back from LA that sounded just like Tupac, but he never really broke through. Maybe it's him doing them.
yeah.
Another getting back to Walmart, I seen an interesting T-shirt there too. Have you seen this at your Walmart, Fleck? There was or Thomas,
Yep.
There was a T-shirt that said Power Line, like from a Goofy movie. Have you seen that one yet?
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Well,
I don't usually pay attention at the T-shirts because
no, but I was like, damn, a Goofy movie,
Yeah.
Power Line.
Yeah, most of the T-shirts I buy are just wrestling T-shirts now, so I don't even look at their T-shirts. So
I buy a lot. I buy normal shirts. I buy basketball jerseys, anime shirts. I've kind of got a motley crew of shirts, no pun intended.
yeah. It's eventually I just decided I wanted to make a collection of wrestling tees, so I just focus on that one. So
I found my old DX shirt from like '98. I should rock that again.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's been a while since I bought one, and I know that new people have gotten shirts since then.
I want to get the Omega shirt. I want to get the Kenny Omega cleaner shirt.
Yeah, I got the Golden Lovers for my Kenny Omega shirt. To also get my Kota Ibushi shirt.
Yeah.
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 My last 2 shirts were Iconics and Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. I'm not sure what that says about me, so.
That just says you like people that are good friends.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
okay.
You believe in the power of friendship.
Yes. And hot guys with big cock.
Look, I mean, okay, I gotta say something. I never got that the Golden Lovers were a couple. I just got that they were best friends. It's like Larry and Balky on Perfect Strangers. No one thought they were gay.
I think that the Golden Lovers are perfectly fine if you think they are. So at least it doesn't
matter. I don't care if they are or not. I just said I never got those vibes. I mean, about the Aussie chicks, the Iconics, I never got that vibe either. Yet everyone thinks they are. I mean, I think if anything, I think the people that say it, I think that talks more about them and less about the Iconics. I think that talks about more their deviant sexual fantasies.
Yes.
People are gonna see what they want to see.
I just still can't get over, like we were talking earlier about, before we came on the air, I still can't get over people, or we might have talked about it on the air, about like Peyton Royce being fat shamed. I mean, what the fuck? Can you motherfuckers not tell the difference between athletic and fat?
Yes. And that's really the
We're
thing.
in an era right now. We got intelligent people trying to break grounds. I mean, hey, Fleck, can I shout out somebody that's really intelligent? Fleck?
Yep.
Omar Esoff. Go look him up. Omar Esoff in the fitness industry, he's breaking walls down as far as perspective. You motherfuckers out there need to fucking get on him and listen to that man. That guy is breaking walls down. He's showing, he's trying to get people over the fact that, that people are in shape if they got like six-pack abs or skinny minis as far as women, or six-pack abs and like 2% body fat. No. I mean, fitness is all kinds of stuff in between. I'm glad to see someone like Omar Esoff breaking these walls down. So, I mean, just the fat shame Peyton Royce is absurd.
Yes. And that's
it says more about the people doing it than the person themselves.
Luckily, we're one of those things that could say the normal things on that one. And that would be with Peyton Royce.
Peyton Royce is a good-looking girl. Next question.
Whoever pulled me out of her would be the next king of England.
You know what?
The takes you can get on this show on this one, because we don't care anymore.
I mean, there's always been attractive women in wrestling. I mean, it just, to each their own. I just think calling the Iconics a gay duo, calling the Golden Lovers a gay duo, that says more about the people saying it than them. I've always gotten vibes of Larry and Balky from Perfect Strangers with the Golden Lovers, and I guess with Peyton Royce. You know what? Let's. Is it just me kind of switching topics but staying there? Is it just me, or Sasha Banks and Bayley basically Sam and Cat?
I could see it.
They essentially are. Like, Sasha Banks is Sam and Bayley's Cat. They act like it, for fuck's sake. I mean, but going back to Peyton Royce and
Billy Kay.
To me, they just act like a couple Mean Girls, like in the Mean Girls movie. Now, what I'm waiting for is we need to get a couple girls acting like Cher and Dion from Clueless, and get a third one that's like Amber. Yep. Yes, I know the beautiful people were there. Yes, I understand that was somewhat, but Velvet Sky doesn't want to do shows anymore. And Madison Rain is just floating around Impact. Angelina, I have no clue what she is.
So.
What?
He was also in the Mae Young Classic, so.
Who is?
Madison Rain.
What's her name in it?
Amber Rain. Or Ashley Rain, yep.
No, what they should have did was put a smart ass and called her Make It. Make It Rain. And then give her R-Truth as the girl, as a guy rapping her down the ring. Just picture that.
Yeah.
But then again, R-Truth is busy trying to pin Carmella. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, that's always the plus on this one, because you can always see the story of an angry gangsta who's a gangsta rapper trying to pin a pretty blonde girl as a good thing in the PG era.
That happens everywhere, it seems. But I mean,
yeah, it's a very good storyline on this one.
I will say this.
Chicago Bulls will come to pass in the real.
Say this right now, point blank. And this whole show's a shoot, so fuck it. I can't say it's a shoot. I'll say this point blank. Gangster rappers, I admire their confidence.
Exactly.
Much love to every rapper out there, to everyone in the whole hip hop culture. Hey, the caveman's got love for you.
Yeah. Everyone in the gangster rap culture from when Tom Selleck invented it has been doing some confidence.
Tom Selleck, I thought it was Burt Reynolds.
No, it was Tom Selleck who invented gangster rap, remember?
What?
Remember it was Tom Selleck invented gangster rap?
Yeah, but then, okay, Burt Reynolds was his rival, and you've never seen him in the same room.
Yeah.
You've never seen him in the same place. I mean, Tom Selleck was a badass, though, representing the Motor City. I heard Alex Shelley's actually trying to become a physical therapist. That's pretty fucking.
Yeah, he recently retired in Ring of Honor, and I think it just aired. So
that's awesome. I mean, I hope he does well for himself.
Yep.
I think he will. I think he will do very good. I mean, Shelley, I've had interesting encounters with Shelley over the. I mean, there was one time I went to an indie show. He says, I take a picture with me. He says, "Hey, show this to your mom," and he flips off the camera. And then he didn't know who I was, so I run into him like a couple of years later. He sees me walking down the road. He goes, "Nice hair, Tarzan." And I go, "Hey, Shelley, you remember me?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Good match tonight." And I try to shake his hand, and he does the diesel with me, pulls it back and slicks his hair.
Yep.
Sabin was down there. Sabin was there too. Sabin was always been a down-to-earth cat.
Yeah. It was kind of weird that he might have been the most snake-bitten person on this one, because it was clear WWE wanted him badly in 2011. They had a list that was leaked of all the indie people they wanted to sign, and he was on it. But because of the TNA lawsuit, he couldn't get there, and it basically, by the time it ended, the window for the Motor City Machine Guns was over.
Why didn't New Japan call Shelley to come back, especially with Kushida getting big as a
apparently the reason is because after Matt Sydal's problems on it, apparently Alex Shelley liked the marijuana. And after Matt Sydal, it completely ruined the chances for anybody who liked it to get.
That's how Arashi and All Japan got blackballed, isn't it? Like, marijuana's a huge deal in Japan. Like, like you're blackballed from everything.
Yeah, and Matt Sydal was in New Japan, and he got caught with marijuana, and that basically said, all the U.S. guys who smoke marijuana, we don't want you.
Like fucking Michael Hogan's Canadian, but I mean, like any motherfucker, like any gaijin they have now from America or Canada doesn't do pot.
Yeah. And that was actually weird that they were ready to bring in Matt Riddle for it until WWE offered him, because Matt Riddle has smoked himself retarded. So,
what about Matt Hardy? Who smoked themselves more retarded?
Matt Hardy at least is one of those people where every so often you think he's a pathetic human being. He goes and does something, and you realize this is an incredibly talented pro wrestler.
Another thing that someone was bringing up, I forget where I read this, but they were talking about someone had the perfect idea for Matt Hardy. Someone said they should make him like Willy Wonka, and he could show up occasionally offering people that are in a feud, in a blood feud, like to have their final match at the Hardy compound. I could get behind that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Someone suggested that. I don't know if it was on Reddit or someone else, but I mean, see, not every idea on the internet is bad. Some of these are genius ideas, and that's a genius idea. I mean, I'd love to see either that, or I'd love to see Matt Hardy open up a wrestling school at the compound, make a new generation of Omega.
Yeah. And those would be pretty interesting for it. So.
I mean, they apparently had an episode of Impact Wrestling that was from the.
They did.
And it was awesome. And it was beautiful.
Yeah, and that's really the problem with the whole thing when it went to the WWE on it, where the Hardys situation between the broken Hardys and the woke Hardys is just an example that WWE is just too good to be bad. And that really is the problem, because with Impact, with the Broken Saga, they were at rock bottom, and they kept chiseling and chiseling to get to rock bottom. And because they did, they could say, okay, we're going to go Sharknado in this. We're going to be so bad it's good. But the Woken Hardys is basically like, if you gave an A-list cast and $150 million to Tommy Wiseau and said, here, $150 million, A-list cast, remake The Room.
That's what James Franco did.
Yeah.
Well, that was based on the book that the one guy in that made based on it, like based on his experience with The Room.
Yeah. But basically, you can't, you give that much money and that good a talented cast, you're not going to get a movie as bad as The Room, so it won't be as great as The Room.
I saw The Room for the first time a few years on Adult Swim back, and it was just cool. Like, what was the popularity of it before it showed up on Adult Swim?
Basically, it was a Los Angeles inside joke before it showed up on Adult Swim.
How the hell did it wind up in Atlanta for them to show?
Tim and Eric.
Tim and Eric loved it.
What?
Tim and Eric loved it.
Oh. Have you guys seen that Mostly for Millennials show that was based on the Totally for Teens skit?
I don't think I have, no.
Well, Derek Beckles was saying in an interview, he said he was taking influence from Christian television shows, Just Say No campaign, and I'm trying to think of what else. He's took influence from those and something else. Oh, your typical teen talk shows of the 90s. There were two shows I noticed influences of. Do you remember the show Wavelength with Jennifer Smith in the early mid-90s?
No, I don't.
There was a back in like 93, 94, and I only remember that because Surfing just came out around then. There was this show called Wavelength that was syndicated where it had this, cute blonde woman hosting it. Her name was Jennifer Smith, and it's basically your typical teen topic show, but I didn't see so much influences from that as much as seen influence on the Canadian show Jonovision.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of you have to be familiar with Jonovision.
I don't think I've heard of that one either. So
Yeah, neither have I.
Look it up on YouTube. Look it up on YouTube.
Well, I'm looking up Wavelength right now, and I'm not seeing anything on there except just math and stuff like that, or Van Morrison.
Well, then type in Wavelength and Jennifer Smith. It's a very esoteric show, so I mean, but Jonovision was huge in Canada. Like, the funny thing is, the guy that hosted Jonathan Torrens is more famous for being J-Rock on Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
But I mean, and Derek Beckles is from Toronto, so I know he had to get more influence from fucking Jonovision than Wavelength. And in essence, I mean, when I stop and think about it, I mean, I would be very interested to see someone try that format again.
Yeah.
For real, serious. Not like Mostly for Millennials as a spoof, but a serious one. I think that's what TRL is trying to be on MTV, even though now it comes on at 8 a.m. in the friggin' morning when I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I don't know, just kind of a genre that there's interesting genres you see and remember, and you stop and think, and you think this could work again with some, twists and turns.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the problems where most of the people have problems and have teen issues that go through. They don't really need to go to a talk show for it.
No, I'm not meaning it like that. I'm just meaning I don't mean it like that necessarily. It's like, God, I mean, if I only know of Jonovision about reading about it and watching it on YouTube. I mean, if I was Canadian growing up, I was in the age, we were all in the age range where it was. If we were all Canadians instead of Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, I almost wanted to run away to Canada. That would have been fun. Yeah, that was an inside joke. Anyone that knew me back in high school, I mean, that was an inside joke. Maybe someone will recognize that, but
yeah,
I mean, the teens. It wasn't so much like, teens don't have to go to a talk show to talk about problems. All the shows I was talking about, it wasn't just teens talking about problems. It was like a whole thing. It was a whole thing like little concerts and stuff like that, little musical guests, them talking about fashions and stuff. It was more than just teens talking about problems. Like, hell, Jonovision, Sum 41, the band Sum 41 got their big breakthrough on the show Jonovision, where they won a battle of the bands.
So that's the reason we have Sum 41.
They were from Canada.
I know, but like I said, that's the reason we have those assholes.
What's wrong with Sum 41? They had some decent stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I still don't want to waste my time to be a casualty of society, so.
I'll never fall in line, become another victim of conformity.
That was a good song. We're All to Blame was a good song.
Well, it's a problem where it's one of the songs I got out of because I had a Saturn at the time. And for some reason, my Saturn
too.
Car's radio would just go beep, You knows it all. We laugh at old people fall. Just one of the speakers just didn't work for something reason, and it's not my radio sucked. Both of the Saturns I owned had that same problem.
Oh damn! What do you own now?
I just bought my mom's Chevy Aveo, so
how's the stereo on that?
It's really good. Like I put in Sirius XM, and I was able to blast to Bare Naked Ladies Stunt from on my way to work and from there. So, and
Bare Naked Ladies song.
Which one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't think of a favorite one. So
no, I mean, which one did you blare?
Stunt for the CD. So
oh, you know, everyone knows 1 week. Everyone knows the song 1 week, but you know what was a really underrated song and was a good song for theirs? Pinch Me.
Yeah.
No one really knows about that song to my knowledge.
Yeah, I know it. So
no, I'm saying no. Compared, everyone knows 1 week, but no one. I don't know how popular "Pinch Me" is, but I mean, I remember getting it released. I remember it getting released back in 2000, and I always thought it was a catchy tune.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's Weezer doing these days anyway? Are they coming out with a new album soon?
They put out their cover of Africa. So
how is it? How is it?
It sounds pretty dead on to the Toto version.
I figured. Yeah, I figured. I mean, Rivers Cuomo's a genius.
Yeah.
And just, I'm amazed that Weezer hasn't had like a third comeback. I mean, we were talking about MTV and all that shit. Remember, I remember hearing about. I remember like one of those awards. This is like Tupac said they need something different. That's how Kiss went back to wearing makeup.
Yeah.
You know, and personally, I mean, I know I'm in the rear. I know I'm an oddball when it comes to this, but I always thought Kiss, from a musical standpoint, got better without the makeup. They were good with it, but I mean, they did 80s hair metal better than 80% of the bands that came out during the 80s.
Yeah.
People,
please think about it.
People, please throw. Well, people, please throw makeupless Kiss a bone. They were just as good, if not better. I know people are going to shit on me for that, but that's how I feel.
Well, I can see it perfectly because 80s hair metal was really bad 70s glam rock. So a 70s glam rock band like Kiss would probably do very good hair metal.
I got fault.
We'd be getting so many angry comments about this if anyone were watching.
Yeah. Well,
look, I want to rock and roll all night and party every. I like that. I like that.
Have a really nice time.
Yep. Family Guy. Lois fucking it up, and then it turns out she was loose Lois getting plowed by all the members of Kiss, and Peter's like, wow, I'm fucking Kiss. You dumbass, you got cucked by Kiss, you dumb shit.
If Kiss wants to cuck you, you let Kiss cuck you.
Fuck that, I'm not James Ellsworth.
Hey, it's not just, don't think of it as cucking them. Think of it as your Eskimo buddies with the Kiss.
Stop it. Stop it. Oh, jeez. Okay, I deserve this for singing Surfing Bird on a whim.
Yeah.
What the hell?
You're saying you wouldn't be fine being Eskimo brothers with Kissy McKisserton?
No, I mean, the way I see it, I mean, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want that. But yeah, Kiss. Well, the point I was getting sidetracked. The point I'm trying to make is you would think that you'd have someone from today on an MTV award show saying there's something we need, there's something we need, there's something that's we need, there's something missing, we need a little something different. And then imagine Weezer coming out and either doing Buddy Holly or Undone the Sweater song. I think the music scene needs Weezer to get big again.
Yeah.
Weezer could get over again. They got over in the 90s. They took a break. They got over in the 2000s a couple times. You tell me there is not room for Weezer now? I say you're full of shit if you don't think there is.
Honestly, the problem is that if you think about it, all they did is 2000s pop punk emo type things on it. If you look at them now for Fall Out Boy, Panic at
Fall
the
Out Boy's
Disco.
trying to do hard rock now, aren't they?
I don't know. I think they became pop, so. So eventually,
It was weird. One day I sat down and I was flipping the channels. I seen the video for "Sugar We're Going Down," and everyone talks about that being their sellout song. But that video looked similar to the song that they had before that, which was, I forget the name of it, but it was a song they had before that in 2002, and the video looked similar. The videos looked similar.
Yep.
I mean, it takes a rare band. It takes a rare band. You know, people talk about bands selling out and stuff like that. There's only one band I can think of where their underground sound was different and their mainstream sound was different, but they sounded just as good. There's only one band, AFI. AFI underground style was awesome. Their mainstream style was just as good. They changed, but they both, you know, take them for what they are. They were both just as good.
Mm-hmm.
Black, you there?
Yep.
Okay. Meanwhile, Bueller?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just checking on some things, so.
Yeah, it's just one of those pregnant pauses. That's why I had to throw out the Bueller.
Yeah.
Who out there listening and who in here listening would think a Weird Science remake would get over?
I don't know about that one because
the TV series came out was good and the movie was good.
Yeah, but if you think about it on this one, the concept of it would be so dated. I mean, think about the concept of that movie. It's basically
okay. Instead of a computer, use a 3D printer.
No, I mean
boom.
No, I'm talking about two incels create a perfect woman from a magazine and try to make her their personal sex slave. That would not be a teen comedy in 2018.
That would be a horror film.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
like,
I mean,
there would not be directors, anyone who was at that screening would just their collars would be permanently tugged.
Yes.
How uptight have we become? Holy shit.
Well, again, that would still be the problem on this one. It's basically two incels create their perfect woman from a magazine, and they use that to try and get laid with popular girls. That's not something that you could make in 2018.
Oh, sure you can.
If you made it a horror film, like Flash said.
Yes.
A horror film.
And that's one of the problems on this one, where a lot of the stuff in John Hughes movies would be very dated. You couldn't have John Bender sneak underneath a thing and go down on Claire in Breakfast Club. You could definitely not have Jake Ryan say to the geek, "Here, you take my drunk girlfriend home, and you have your way with her."
Candles, that was funny, but yeah, I do know how that was creepy.
Yeah,
see that. Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, Anthony Michael Hall went on to have a good career. What happened to the chick that played that girl? She fell off the face of the earth or was doing Broadway or something.
I think that she ended up at Anthony Michael Hall's rape den, so.
Oh, God.
#MeToo.
Jesus Christ.
And now we got one of the Me Too girls getting outed for having an affair with some 17-year-old.
Well, at the same time, it's possible for people to have been abused and also abuse other people.
That is true.
Right, but I'm saying something like that is going to expose hypocrisy, and I think the Me Too movement's going to get its wheels cut out from under it. I mean, there needs to be an open discussion. I just wish men and women were not all or nothing. I just wish it wasn't a zero-sum game. I think that's one of the problems we see today, 2018, and forget men versus women, all movements everywhere. I mean, we need to get over this zero-sum game stuff. I mean, we got a guy in office that basically divides everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to start. I don't know if politics is on the table, so I'll
It's
just leave
perfectly fine. Anything goes here. So, like for instance, anything could be said here. So,
Trump, I want to like, but he just has made so many mistakes. And here we go again with the pregnancy pause.
no problems. So, and it's really just the case where right now there's too much division on these things, and I've always been steadfast that this came from Occupy and the Tea Party, where both sides were ready to say, okay, we're going after the big guys. We're going to redistribute the wealth. We're going to make a universal thing. We're
flat on its face.
Yeah, but I think
they had no coherence with their movement, and I mean,
well, that's my point, because
a few years later, I think Fight for 15 had some more success.
What the fuck was Fight for 15?
Increasing the minimum wage to 50.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, now see automation coming. Automation's taken over a lot of stuff, and I mean, I keep reading articles.
It was taking it over before.
Yeah,
like I know, but I'm saying
they're saying about
the end of employment and stuff. I mean, I have a list on my computer about jobs that have the best shot of being automated, and I don't know I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I think that if there's an end of employment and things like that, eventually it's going to go to the fact that if that happened, people will go back to a barter system. People have no choice but to do it because no one will, and that'll kill all of the economy for good, because then all the rich people
will just go to a barter system. It'll just be trading stuff. It won't kill the economy for good.
No, but all the rich.
I mean, the money won't be worth anything because no one will be able to.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't we so high up in debt that our money doesn't mean nothing anyway?
Well, it's still the case where the money still has.
I mean, I'm no economics professor, but
as long as we pay our debts on time, I don't know if that's going to as long as we at least pay the monthly payments or what have you.
Yeah,
well, it's not what I mean on this one, but it's mostly the fact that money has value because people assign it value.
Right.
Say, okay, I'm going to give you money. You're going to give it back to us by paying for it. And eventually, if no one's getting money on that one, the money will cease to have value because all the people who have money will just keep it, and they won't be able to get it.
I think at the end of the day, coming full circle on the subject, I just think Trump is a fall guy. I really think he's trying to do the best he can, but at the end of the day, he's a fall guy for all the sins of all of us.
Well, it's mostly the fact that at the same time on it, it's just goes back to everybody in the world is completely at each other's throats to the point where,
and that's got to stop. That's got to stop.
Yeah, and it seems like it's going to go to World War III between everybody, and it'll keep going until there's one human being left, and that human being will die attacking the mirror.
Well, or it could end up with two human beings left, and we get Adam and Eve Part 2.
No, I don't think those two human beings will fight each other, because it goes to the fact where everybody views intersectionality as a good thing, but true intersectionality is 1-to-1. Every human being gets a seat at the table.
Right. Well, I mean, if you believe the religious, they believe Armageddon's at hand, but we've heard that for millions of years, or not millions of years. I'm sorry. If you believe in religion, the Earth is only like 7,000 years old, and during that time, we've heard Armageddon's going to happen. Armageddon's going to happen.
There was Y2K. There was that thing back in 20.
Y2K was retarded. I knew Y2K was not going to be the end. It was just damn fucking do. It's going to click over to 0-0. Everyone was freaking out over nothing. I think that was a manufactured crisis.
Hey, Y2K was perfectly good. He was a 10-time Intercontinental Champion.
Y2K, not Y2K. And he was going to be known as the Millennium Man, or Excalibur.
Yep.
That was
And
funny.
then there was that thing with Sid Vicious.
Yep.
What
Who
was
was
that?
also the Millennium Man.
Oh, yes, Sid. Poor
He had
Sid.
a guy counting his victories because he was gonna
Sid.
put his
Poor
streak
Sid
against
fucking wearing
Goldberg's.
a goddamn mask, calling himself Lord Humongous, and years later, shitting himself in the ring at the biggest event of our history, then breaking his leg, then talking about how he's twice the man as Kevin Nash and having half the brain of him. He just Sid, you know what? In all seriousness, though, Sid was a very, very good big man in wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. Sid was a very good, legitimate big man in wrestling. I think a lot of big men that are coming up today, even big men that are established like a Strowman, they could learn something from Sid.
Mm-hmm.
Sid, I thought when I was a kid,
don't skip out of your events to play softball.
Mm-hmm.
I learned, you know what? I will say this right now. When I was a young Mark, like 11-year-old Mark, and Sid was coming to the WWF,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that man was going to take over everything.
Yeah.
He was damn good.
Charismatic, and he did.
He was a damn good face. I wish they didn't. Why did they pull the plug so quick on turning him heel?
I think it's because he was basically got caught with steroids in '92. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he got caught with steroids. He thought he had nothing to lose, so that's why he kicked out of the leg drop, and then they just fired him because of that.
Be right back, guys. Bleeding the Lizard again.
But it is something where a lot of the new big, super big guys could learn something from Sid on it. Like Big Cass probably could have done better if he had that thing Sid had. And I speak, of course, of that big Dan Gladden-esque mullet perm.
You can't teach that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can have the mullet, you can have the perm, but only the best can have a mullet perm.
I think Sid's son wound up in one of the Big Brother seasons, and then like Luna Vachon's kid wound up on a season of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
2 seasons actually, because he was in like the All Stars one too.
Yeah, surprising on that one. So.
Well, he made it to the Black Jacket phase, so
yeah.
I guess he was popular enough with audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, season 6 of that was that had some moments.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you drink 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water a day. You wind up going to the bathroom 20 times.
Yep.
And it beats the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the alternative is pissing your pants.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to say dehydration, but yeah.
I was going to say yellow.
It's funny. Like at my peak, I would drink. There was a time where I drank like 3 gallons of water a day, and I wound up having to go to the bathroom like 30 times. And one of my jobs, my boss would tease me all the time saying, "We got to get you a catheter."
Jeez.
Yeah, and I'm like, "What the fuck's a catheter?" And then I look it up. I'm like, "Oh, fuck you." That guy was a cool guy. I wonder whatever happened to him. I mean, everyone thought of him as an asshole, but he was a very cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's doing well in whatever he chooses to do in life.
Yeah. Probably went to the other side of the school, like Minkus did.
No. I mean, it was a warehouse job, so underside of the warehouse. But who knows? Yeah. Why did people shit on Tom Brady when he had hair like Sean Hunter? I thought he looked good.
I think it's because he had hair like Justin Bieber as well. So, and you can get away with the model's wife.
Look, I'll tell you this right now. If I was, I'm going to say this straight up. Okay, now we bring up Bieber. Okay, you're going to bring up Bieber. I have to say something right now. If I was 15 years younger, that's the motherfucker I'd want to emulate. Too many people shit on Bieber. That guy has the best swag.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what anyone says. Bieber has the best swag. If I was 15 years younger, that's who I'd want to be. But the best I could hope for is trying to emulate being like an older brother to him or something. But then again, that would come off creepy. So,
yeah, that's one of the weird things though, because he's the example of the problem with social media. If Justin Bieber had ended up completely forgotten about, like Jeremy Jordan or Dino, we'd probably start to like him ironically by now. But
you know what the funny thing is? If you go look at videos for Jeremy Jordan, like The Right Kind of Love, someone made a comment saying he's basically the 90s Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to say this to you guys right now. Look up Jeremy Jordan's Try My Love album. He was seriously underrated. I mean, he's some very seriously underrated Blue-Eyed Soul.
Yeah.
He needs he needs to get a second listen from people. And Dino was around in the late 80s, early 90s. Freestyle. He was a freestyle king, and if I recall correctly, he married one of the cover girls. Now he's producing music. Funny how that works. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, Bieber, social media's kind of cut his legs out from under him, but I'll just say this. What if we had social media like it was back in the 80s? Imagine all the bullshit you would have seen about Michael Jackson then. Imagine all the bullshit you would have seen about New Kids on the Block then. See what, you know, when I look at social media, I just think we've just made our voices louder. I mean, it's not like that it wasn't there before. It's always been there. It's like Dennis Rodman when he was getting interviewed back in 1998, and Jim Gray made him cry, that infamous interview, and he was talking about, why is it such a big thing doing what I do? People were going in the stands fighting in the 70s and 80s. Why is it all of a sudden a big deal that I do what I do? That was very profound from Rodman. I mean,
yeah.
And it's like they were trying to single out Dennis Rodman. Yeah. I mean, the guy was eccentric, but he had the IQ. He was a genius on the court. And I mean, he made valid points. Yeah, they were doing that shit. There were crazy characters in the 70s and 80s just like him. If anything, I mean, there were crazy characters in basketball in the 90s, but you know, one of the criticisms about today is how people look at 90s basketball and they say, oh, it was real back then. Oh, it was real back then. It was a man's game back then. Now it's like touch, you know, touch and you foul. Look, let me tell you this right now. I can see beauty in games from the 50s all the way up. Rules change, philosophies change, people change. Yeah. I mean, I laugh my ass off at people fucking talking about 90s ball was the shit. 90s ball was the shit. You motherfuckers were bitching and moaning back then because that was when they started the touch fouls. And then you motherfuckers say, oh, 80s ball was better. 80s ball was in your face. You motherfuckers are tripping on acid or rocks or whatever. Because look, if you watch an 80s game, it was more open. If the 80s was so physical, then why the fuck did you see the Denver Nuggets in the 80s having like fucking 186 to 184? I think it's just perspective. I think it's just people's nostalgia's a hell of a drug, and we all have been hooked on member berries. Just Trey Parker and Matt Stone just made it known.
Yeah.
For the record, I think the 90s Bulls would beat the Warriors of today, but it would be a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what? 2014 San Antonio Spurs or 1986 Boston Celtics would take them all.
Yeah. Well, it's also a question mark for the Warriors versus the Bulls because remember, now the Warriors have
Boogie.
Yeah. So and the
No,
Bulls.
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about championship teams.
Yeah.
That's why I said 86 Celtics, 2014 Spurs. Let me see.
Showtime Lakers.
Here are before we start talking about that. But I just find it funny how everyone's on this nostalgia kick about how it was so much better. No, it wasn't. I mean, they weren't more physical in the 90s. They were touchy-tack fouls in the 90s. The only thing that's different between now and back then is people get technical and flagrant fouls for stupid shit that they would have just counted as part of the game back then. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Literally, opening night last year. Last year, I'm watching opening night, Rockets and Warriors. And they called I forget what play it was, but they called a flagrant on somebody, and I was like, this is bullshit. And it didn't look like not a big deal, but I was saying to myself, you know what? I don't care if these are the two best teams in the league. If they call flagrant, I'm done. They called a flagrant, I went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't know. I sometimes think people, I think maybe that's sometimes a fallacy that we have where people, the underground and anything independent has been romanticized to an obscene degree where everyone wants to be part of something underground. There was a book by a girl named Naomi Klein called No Logo, which in the book, she was talking about how companies, like big companies, would make a pseudo indie scene. I forget what it was, but Coke made like something. It's been years.
Okay, Cola.
Yeah, let me finish. Yeah, I was gonna say, Coke made a billboard or a radio station playing some pseudo underground radio station. It's been years since I've read this book, but I believe it was somewhere in New York or maybe Chicago where they made a fake radio station and they were trying to make it look underground when there's Coca-Cola pulling the strings.
Mm-hmm.
And the point I'm trying to make in all this is, I think, and you know, coming full circle all the way back to wrestling is that we all want to be the hip person that knows something underground that no one else knows. Yet, what happens when the scene is so full of people like that? Mm-hmm. Then it's not underground at all. It's mainstream, and we've come full circle.
Yeah, and with wrestling, that's a good example right now because you see the
exactly.
UK, which is white hot right now, but all the best UK promotions are in bed with WWE. So
right,
how underground can they be?
Right, indeed. But wait a minute, Insanely Strange Wrestling, Joe Henry and Grado from there, and they're an Impact.
Yeah, but even then, they have some guys who went to Impact, but most of the top UK promotions are in bed with WWE by and large.
Yeah. Is this true about Eli Drake? He was actually a student of The Rock?
Yeah, well, he was on The Rock's reality show.
When did The Rock have a reality show?
He had it back in 2013 or 14.
Okay.
Yeah, it was The Hero or something like that.
But wasn't he Eli Drake by then?
No, he was Shawn Rickers before that one. And he was
I seen a promo with him as Shawn Ricker, and he basically won some indie title, and he cut essentially the same promo he cut years later, becoming the Impact champion, except he was Shawn Ricker instead of Eli Drake.
Yeah.
And
but he was
Eli Drake's got the best mic skills in wrestling right now, bar none.
Yeah, but he had that.
Yeah. Go on.
He had his run on The Rock's reality show. That got him signed to WWE. WWE didn't use him and released him, and then he went to TNA.
Wait a minute. When did WWE have him on TV?
He didn't make TV.
Oh. Okay. Did he even make NXT?
Didn't even make NXT. He was a Performance Center student that didn't make it.
Well, they have egg on their face now, don't they?
Yep. Well, I think that WWE wanted him back, but they couldn't get him, so because he'd been there twice and he didn't fail, so and he didn't make it.
Ooh. Yeah, I think he's gonna be there. You know, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing. I like that all the indies. I like how Impact and Lucha Underground and they're trying to get some New Japan, like I was saying earlier before we went on. I like that movement going. I like where this is going. I'm just scared of it. I'm just scared of this whole indie boom. I'm scared of the story ending the same way it did in the 80s with Mid-South and the 90s with ECW, and to a degree with the Zeros and ROH. But like we were saying earlier on before we came on, if you look at the indie boom, most of the guys that are making money are guys that had cups of coffee in the WWE, were in a WWE environment.
Yeah,
I want to see someone get big during the indie boom, making enough money without having a cup of coffee in WWE. I don't count the Young Bucks because they had dark matches. I'm talking about I want to see someone come out of it and make their money without using the WWE. We haven't seen someone.
That's still the problem because, again, if you make it to a point where you're a top star in the indie scene, eventually WWE's going to know your name. They probably knew your name while you were a rising star because they're very good at scouting.
Right.
So I don't think we're going to see someone like that because they'd have to be just by rising the ranks. Eventually, WWE's going to know their name. They're going to have scouts looking at them, and they're going to have WWE's eyes on them. So,
right. I mean, like I was saying to you, the only two I can think of right now are female wrestlers, Allie and Rosemary / Cherry Bomb Courtney Rush, that have done something that have made themselves somewhat, in this case of making a bunch of money without having the WWE behind them.
Yeah, but even then, with those cases, you have Braxton Sutter's probably going to be a coach in WWE, and a lot of people in WWE know Rosemary or Courtney Rush, and they love her, and they clearly want her. So,
and the thing they're doing with Allie's World, I mean, this is some genius what they're doing storyline wise. They're keeping Rosemary relevant since she's out until January, and they're doing. I love the story. I love the Masters of the Multiverse. I mean, if anything, that proves what they're doing, and even before when Hal Ryder got over in 2011, I mean, that proves that we are in an era where it's all wide open and people can create things for good or for worse, and it's so much easier and so much more freedom that the cream will rise to the top. It's just amazing how YouTube and social media has given people more of a shot. That's the good side of the internet. The bad side of the internet is all these Insta thoughts posting a bunch of shitty pictures. Like, look at me, I'm an attention whore. But then again, people turn around and say, oh, no, that's the good part. No, it's not. Think about it. You'll get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Any more thoughts?
Not really. I think this is a good time to end this episode since I have work tomorrow. So.
Oh shit! What time?
Yep.
What time you gotta go to work tomorrow?
3:30.
Oh, you got time to sleep. What about you, Roach?
Nah, I don't have work tomorrow.
Yep. But hopefully this will go on some more on this one, and we can work out a new style for Whacked Out Wrestling. Yeah.
What channel is this coming on?
This is on the Whacked Out Wrestling channel exclusively. So.
What's the name of the channel? Is it just Whacked Out Wrestling, all one word?
Whacked Out Wrestling Podcast. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure if you look up Whacked Out Wrestling on YouTube, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool beans.
Yep. The one wrestling podcast that rarely has anything to do with wrestling.
Well, we talk about wrestling, but we take a left turn in Albuquerque. There's the third time I use that reference, but It's all good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Sometimes to do great things, you have to go far beyond the rails.
Yep.
So till next time, this was Whacked Out Wrestling. Peace.